forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad attacked rebel strongholds in various parts of Syria today. The assaults were intensified as the uprising entered its second year, can't believe it, with a negotiated solution as far off as ever.
With more on the anniversary that it's coming up, not only on the uprising, but how it's being marked across this country, we're joined in Montreal by Faisal al-Azam. He is with the Syrian Council. You know, Faisal, we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the show. 8,000 plus people are now confirmed dead. The bloodiest conflict in the Arab uprisings that we've seen in the past year. What is your take on where we stand 1 year in?
Well, 1 year end has unfortunately showed that every effort that we took, and especially what we call the Friends of Syria, and I say Friends of Syria between quotes, all the efforts have failed miserably. The diplomatic efforts that Kofi Annan is doing right now in Syria are almost, I say, laughable, but I'm being cynical. While he was having his diplomatic talks and said that the talks with Assad were constructive, we had a slaughter that happened in Karm al-Zaytun and Homs. And this is the story of Syria. Every day slaughters, every day torture, every day killing. And we have failed. The international community have failed and continue to fail. And it's very important for you to compare the friends of the regime with the friends of the revolution. The friends of the regime are giving them veto, are giving them weapons, are giving them money, are giving them media coverage, and the friends of the revolution or the friends of the Syrian people are giving them condemnation speeches, which are very contradictory, because when Stephen Harper or Hillary Clinton say that Assad has lost legitimacy and has to step down, we still have embassies that are opened in Ottawa and in Washington. So it is a disappointment, and it is really time to wake up and to understand that these efforts, these diplomatic low-level efforts and these low-level economic sanctions will not work with a killing machine or this mafia that is the Assad regime. It will not.
So Faisal, you speak of the Friends of Syria. So what specifically would you like Canada to do?
Well, there is a lot of things that we can do, and this has been communicated already to the UN and to Canada and to the international community. It is really simple. There is people that are being slaughtered, that are going through war crimes, and the international community has a mandate to protect them. I can give you options. It could be via UN peacekeeping forces, specifically the areas that are disastrous areas, Homs and Idlib as an example. You can create safe havens and protected areas. We keep on hearing about the complication of Syria, how Syria is not complicated. Please let us stop with the phantoms that we are creating ourselves. Syrians need protection. This can be established by regional powers. And the third option, if you do not want UN boots on the ground, well, simply support the army defectors. The army defectors are making the difference on the ground, but they need support. They can create the safe havens, and they can create the humanitarian corridors.
So it's time,
but all we get is condemnation speeches.
It's time to arm those rebels. It's time to actively arm those rebels, is what you're saying. Do you think the Arab League will act alone if it doesn't have any direct assistance from the United States or Turkey?
It cannot. To be honest, the Syrian regime is a mafia. And to break down this mafia, you need an international coalition. And as I said, they are not playing alone. They are playing with full Russian support, full Chinese support to some extent, Iranian support, Hezbollah support. And for some of these names that I've mentioned, I mean, the fight is existential, and they will fight for Assad to stay in power. The stakes are too high. But at the same time, on the other side, as I told you, we are just giving condemnation speeches.
Faisal, it's 1 year this weekend that this has been going on. What are you doing to mark the anniversary?
Well, Saturday we are part of a global march, and every major Canadian city will have a march of solidarity with Syria. So I invite all your viewers to go to www.facebook.com/canada.syria to find the details on how they can support the Syrian Revolution and be part of this global march. World leaders have let down Syrians, but we, the people, can still support them. We can still donate, and we can still make a difference. And I will end by giving you a quote by Martin Luther King, the great Martin Luther King, that says, "At the end, we will not remember the words of our enemy, but the silence of our friends."
The address again is www.facebook.com/canada.syria. Faisal al-Azam is with the Syrian Canadian Council, joining us in Montreal. Thank you for your time, Faisal.
Thank you for having me.